This video is brought to you by MPEC Printery, specializing in t-shirt printing, posters, and shipping from the USA. Call 876-775-6692 or 876-337-7374. Andy Gone Nuts, 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876-309-6128. That's 876-309-6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing. And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876-586-0471. That's 876-586-0471. This video is also brought to you by BLC Jamaica Security Electronics, specializing in alarm system, video surveillance, camera system or CCTV, barrier system, gate automation, and access control. Call 876-320-7711. That's 876-320-7711 or 876-351-1105. That's 876-351-1105.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Well, I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Simon Preston, and welcome to Reggae Boys Commentary. Good morning. It's a new day. It's a brand new day. So, how is everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm looking forward to see you guys and to hear everything that will transpire from there on in. And hopefully, in a moment, we'll have a special guest joining us when his device is connected, and we'll be able to have this discussion. Once his device is connected, we will invite him to the program, and we will be able to have a discussion. Let's keep on saying device not connected, but hopefully it should work right now. So, without further ado, here we go. And we're going to talk about a very, very important topic today. So, let's get right into it, as this is a very, very important matter. So, here we go.
Simon, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ian. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm okay now. I'm trying to enable this camera, but it's apparently being blocked by the browser.
I say device not connected right now, so Mr. Campbell's audio is not really.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so let's try and work this with a camera, because I don't know why it's not connecting.
Okay, no problem. Let's proceed, and if video quality comes up, then no problem. But firstly, Mr. Campbell, let's talk about something that we've discussed so much times on this platform and others as well in relation to Jamaican passports and citizenship. Firstly, I'll start it quite simple. That blue book that we all receive, that we're all entitled to, how much of a privilege do you think it is, bearing in mind that you have many other places in the world that have that, and sometimes it's even a challenge just to get that, even if you're a citizen of that country?
Well, listen, Jamaica is a wonderful, wonderful nation. We can be the best at anything we do, and we also can be the worst, as you are aware. Yeah, we have a wonderful, rich history in sports, chiefly athletics. And we have also produced excellent footballers and cricketers over the years, and also wonderful scholars. So having a Jamaican passport should make anyone proud, and also being a citizen of this country is a wonderful honor
Mhm.
for anyone, I think.
Right. And based on the information that you have, of course, having, work and working, the work that you do in that sort of line, in terms of one qualifying for Jamaican citizenship and a passport, is it possible if you could just briefly go over the details where that is concerned?
No problem. All right. So, in terms of Jamaican citizenship, you can attain this by four means. You can attain it by descent, by marriage, naturalization, registration of a Commonwealth national, and the registration of a Commonwealth minor. Those are the four means you can attain Jamaican citizenship.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
can probably stress a bit on each one. So,
Yes.
by descent, of course, you are applying through parents, grandparents, and you're born outside of Jamaica. By marriage, of course, is self-explanatory. Married to Jamaican, and you apply for citizenship. Naturalization, you'd have attained the age of 18, live in Jamaica for 5 years, and 12 months preceding submission, and have good character. In terms of registration by for Commonwealth national, again, you'd be 18, stay in Jamaica for 5 years, and have good character. In terms of a minor, this is applicable to children under 18 and that are of Jamaican parentage, living in Jamaica.
Hmm. Okay. What about those that are minors but living overseas, uh, born in the UK to perhaps a Jamaican father or mother or grandparents?
Yeah,
Yeah, similar case.
of course. So that's by descent. That
Oh,
is citizenship by descent, essentially.
okay. All right, understood. Can someone also obtain a Jamaican passport or citizenship through marriage?
Definitely, of course.
Hmm. Okay. All right. And to the best of your knowledge as well, Mr. Campbell, why is it that some people get through with a Jamaican passport quicker than others? Is it through documentation that they give? Is it because of COVID that slowed things down? What are some of these reasons?
All right. So in a case where a person have the requisite documentation as it relates to citizenship applications, the process is straightforward. However, when documents, particular birth certificates, are missing or contain errors, this lengthens the process. As such, those matters must be addressed before one can apply for a citizenship application. I've seen several cases of misspellings, persons can't locate birth certificates. And when this happens, we must go through the RGD to get documents either corrected or get a new document. In some cases, many cases in England, several footballers, they have a shortened version of the birth certification. Well, of course, they need the long version that contains the names of both parents, which can, of course, trace their lineage to Jamaica.
Hmm.
So that's one of the reasons we have challenges.
The and you spoke about going to the RGD. Is that something that should be straightforward, or that is also a lengthy process as well?
It can be a lengthy process. It can be a lengthy process because there are several forms to complete, and you're talking about persons living overseas in the US or in the UK or wherever, and you're asking them to go on a website and fill documents, provide documentations, and it can be tedious. They have to search, ask relatives for information, etc. Right, and that lengthens the process. And sometimes they get frustrated because there are several forms to actually complete, but the good persons at the RGD are normally very helpful, and it takes time, but usually documents are sorted out.
So I had a chance to speak with team manager of the Reggae Boys, Roy Simpson, and he was saying that sometimes you have a man that leaves Jamaica as Ian Campbell, and when he goes to England, he's Ian Brown. Have we found cases like that as well, where somebody changes their name as well?
Well, what happens
Mm-hmm.
based on my experience, what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have, for instance, a person named Simon, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, and Simon spelled with a I originally on the birth certificate,
Mm-hmm.
and miraculously the person starts spelling their name with a Y, right? So, and when they go overseas, I don't know the processing or the requirements per se,
Mm-hmm.
but they are able to obtain passports of other countries using the spelling with the Y.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they need to get Jamaican documentation, it becomes a problem because their current ID is of a different country and their birth certificate is saying something different.
Right.
So usually the cases primarily with spelling. I've not seen a complete name change
Okay.
since I've been doing this.
To the best of your knowledge, Mr. Campbell, what is the relationship like with PICA and the Jamaican High Commission that is in London, that is in Washington, D.C., in the States, and in Ottawa, in Canada, to the best of your knowledge?
Well, as far as I know,
Mhm.
the relationship is very good. They work together to try and naturalize Jamaicans, process passports, etc. They all work together. They work tirelessly. PICA, the missions overseas, the high commissions, the consulates, the embassies that we have worldwide, they work tirelessly to try and get persons their documents because outside of them working in consular affairs, they also have diplomatic matters to address. That's not their only job function.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is very tiresome and tedious for them. And we must applaud them for their efforts that they make day in, day out,
Mhm.
because they make Jamaica proud and they represent us very well as well.
Absolutely. Now, a thing that we love so much is football. And when it comes to international football, this is such a massive, massive thing to talk about and discuss. Is there perhaps advice you would give to players who are of Jamaican heritage, born to Jamaican parents or grandparents, so that a process of this nature is as smooth as possible and not tedious all the time?
Well, my advice is this to all persons wishing to become Jamaican citizens.
Mhm.
Ensure that they have the documentation to link them to the Jamaican roots. That is what they need to do. So therefore,
Mhm.
if you are in England,
Mhm.
make sure you have the long version of the birth certificate that indicates your parents' name. If you're going through grandparents, make sure the birth certificates of your parents are spelled are properly addressed. So essentially, the names need to be spelled correctly. Everything is a match carefully and correctly with the Jamaican parents' documents. Because remember, the original documents are the Jamaican documents of the say grandparents or parents. So your documentation must match with those. So once the documents are all matching, they synchronize.
Mhm.
It's simple and straightforward. So if there are issues there, they must be addressed either through the registrar in England or the RGD in Jamaica.
Okay. All right. Understood. That seems quite straightforward. And then in relation to that long form that you're talking about, just to be on the same page with you, if they don't have that long form, then they would contact the RGD.
No, that long form will be the registrar in England,
Okay.
the contact, because the shortened version
Hmm.
doesn't contain the parent's name.
I see.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. Now, is there anything locally that can be done as well? Speaking in relation to football, perhaps a strengthening of the relationship between Federation and PICA or the sports ministry and PICA, because at the end of the day, as you know, these are representatives of Jamaica. They're doing service for the country. So, in my eyes, this is something that should be viewed as priority, if you understand what I mean.
I totally agree with you. Well, listen, that's beyond me. But I would like the powers that be to work together. That is our foreign ministry, the JFF, PICA, RGD, etc., to put efforts together so that persons can be naturalized easily or seamlessly, essentially.
And if this is, there's a question in the chat, Mr. Campbell. If this is not in your portfolio, I completely understand. But I'll ask it, and if it's not in your portfolio, that's completely fine. There's a question based on Mr. Holness's comment. If the government wanted to aid the process, would that be possible? I guess that would be the Sports and Foreign Affairs Ministry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
The thing is, it's a matter of us working together as one country to get the best of Jamaica and get Jamaicans naturalized and making our national team stronger, enabling our coaches to have a large pool of players to select from. Yeah, so we just work together essentially.
Okay. Yeah, we spoke about dissent, Mr. Campbell, and I just wanted to clarify some things so that everybody's on the same page and all fans are on the same page as well. We spoke about parents, spoke about grandparents. A matter that has been heavily debated is if great grandparents don't. If I was born in England and my great grandfather was born in Jamaica, could I receive citizenship and passport, a Jamaican passport, if I show the documentation and prove that this guy is my great grandfather?
Yes, you can. It's a tedious process, but yes, you can.
Okay.
You can, but you have to also take into consideration that based on the FIFA article, I think you have to read 5, 6, and 9, that they only extend transfer of nationality to grandparents, or if you were living in that territory for a continuous time length. So I don't think grandparents will be applicable based on the FIFA articles currently.
Okay. And there's a question in relation to speeding up an application once all documentation is presented, like say a week's time if directive comes from the office of the Prime Minister. If PICA gets a directive, or the JFF, or from the Sports Ministry that, listen, Ivan Toney needs a Jamaican passport, PICA would put that on the fast track over an average Joe like myself that is just renewing a passport, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But yes, the process can be expedited. It can be expedited to assist persons that require urgent assistance. That can happen. But logistical angle must be also looked at. If the document is being sent back to England, the time frame must be also penciled. Yeah?
Yeah, fully understood. Are you in a position, Mr. Campbell, where you can speak about some players that you've at least assisted in showing them and pointing them in the right direction of where to fill out which forms, and emailing them or catching up with them where that process is concerned?
I wouldn't want to name any players because there are many of them, to be honest. But I don't want to name any players because I didn't indicate to them prior to.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. To keep them anonymous at this point in time. That's completely fine. A question from Nitro: has the process, again, if this is not your portfolio, I understand, has the process to apply for passports been a major issue? For example, have we lost prospects because of this? Of course, as you know, Mr. Campbell, there was a situation with Troy Deeney where he got frustrated that a passport was not ready for him, and he just did not turn up to represent Jamaica, as you know. So I'm not sure if you heard about that story 9 years ago, but Troy Deeney was in a process of getting a Jamaican passport, but because it wasn't expedited and it took so long, it just goes to show that there can be frustration. And you can understand from a player's end, if you're told to bring this document and that document, and then you're told again that you need this other document, you can understand from a player's perspective, it's frustrating. And players, some of them might not be the most have the most intellect to know this form and that form and that form. I hope you get my drift of where I'm going with this. So it can be for players frustrating, if you understand.
Understood. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
What the players essentially need is proper guidance.
Mm.
Me, for instance, as a former consular officer,
Yeah.
I can essentially guide them properly, right? I'm no longer in that field, but I have the knowledge of how to, right? So that's very important to get proper guidance because, as you know, these are foreign nationals, they're footballers, and probably have not much time to look at 10, 12 documents, right?
Yeah.
So they need guidance and support through the processing. And as I said, I'm available to assist if requested.
Right. Yes. Thank you very much for your service to the country, Mr. Campbell. Really, really appreciate it. I want to throw another interesting story to you. So I was having a chat with Liam Moore. Maybe you saw the interview I did with Liam Moore. He said that his process took a little over 6 months. As on his father's original documents, there was like a pen mark on it, and it's like they
Okay.
didn't want to accept it. So if there's any writing on a birth certificate, it's something that would not be accepted, or that is something that is new to you or you weren't aware of.
They need the original documents, and it shouldn't be tarnished, essentially.
Understood.
Yeah.
Fully,
They need the
fully.
original documents. That is very important. What I can say, we have done processing under 3 months, of course, with the support of the High Commission and, of course, PICA, and guiding the players properly. Yeah, we have actually gotten those done. But some cases, of course, will take longer.
Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Campbell, and finally, we do have some, fans and, even some prospective players that watch this channel from time to time as well. Before you go, I just want to know if you have any advice for them, whether, they are minors but aspiring players for the Reggae Boys, or born in the States or Canada to Jamaican parents and interested in the process to represent Jamaica. Just wanted to know if you have any closing words, final advice to them to ensure that going into 2023, this is a process that can be as smooth as possible for them.
Well, yes. What they should do, ensure that all the documentations are intact, that link them to Jamaica. Simple. If you're born to Jamaican parents, make sure all documents are in hand. If grandparents, the same. Make sure all documents are intact, and that everything is spelled, checked, all correct. That's important.
Yes. And finally, Mr. Campbell, as you're aware, it's the holiday season, so I'm assuming the offices will be closed soon, and perhaps early in the new year it reopens again.
Well, yes, I know the offices will close for the holiday.
Okay.
For the holiday, but trust me, some of these persons, they do work through the holidays behind the scenes.
Wow.
The doors may be closed, but they're still working.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Campbell, thank you very much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And we will always be in touch, all right? So message me anytime, WhatsApp me, and we'll be in touch. Have a pleasant day and the rest of the week, all right?
Yeah, man. Thank you, Simon. Take care. Bye.
All right, take care, Mr. Campbell. There we go, folks. That was Ian Campbell with us, who has worked so well in terms of the process of passports for players and so on, and giving us an insight into these matters as well. I hope he was able to answer the questions and lingering matters that you guys were having in your head. So hopefully this is something that you were able to really mesh. So all right, folks, thanks very much for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and comment to Reggae Boys Commentary for more content.
This video is brought to you by MPEC Printery, specializing in t-shirt printing, posters, and shipping from the USA. Call 876-775-6692 or 876-337-7374. Andy Gone Nuts, 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876-309-6128. That's 876-309-6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing. And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876-586-0471. That's 876-586-0471. This video is also brought to you by BLC Jamaica Security Electronics, specializing in alarm system, video surveillance, camera system or CCTV, barrier system, gate automation, and access control. Call 876-320-7711. That's 876-320-7711 or 876-351-1105. That's